Oh, welcome in, everybody.
There
welcome
we are.
in.
There we are.
How's everybody doing? Welcome into the live stream. The first round of the NFL draft. It's over.
It is?
Some of us survived. Others did not.
I'm alive, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations
Good to
on
see
your
you.
football team not taking
Yeah.
a running back in the first round.
Yeah, thank you.
We have disgruntled quarterbacks on the table here. We're trying to get them all.
Well, not that guy. That guy's good, Matthew.
Matt Ryan's okay.
He was not replaced.
Dak's on the way back, but front and center, very unhappy Aaron Rodgers. No more fist pumps from him.
It's quite a fist pump for an unhappy man.
Welcome into our Round 1 reactions live stream, rounds 2 and 3 tonight. More fantasy implications, more wide receivers, at least another big running back coming off the board tonight. Before we get into questions, we're going to talk about some questions or take some questions. We're going to kind of break down the round 1 picks and our first reactions. But before I do that, just real quick, just like general overview, a couple words about what took place last night.
So I think general overview fantasy-wise, it was a pretty big disappointment. Not necessarily surprising, but I think that a lot of the players, Waddle, Devonta Smith, some of these players that we really had hopeful, high expectations for. I don't love the landing spots.
And I guess I would say that might be the initial impression, but I will remember A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I'll remember the impression I had when he went to Tennessee and the disappointment and how excited we were on A.J. Brown and how, if you're a great player on offense.
And your quarterback gets changed out.
Mm-hmm.
And your quarterback gets changed out.
Mariota was a problem.
Yeah.
Well, I look, to Waddle's point, I mean, we didn't see a lot of Tua last year, so you never know. And we did have some moves that were maybe different than we expected take place that raised the fantasy value of other players. People are excited for Allen Robinson. The prospect of Justin Fields going to Chicago, him having more than a one-year rental of Andy Dalton to look forward to at the wide receiver position. So it's kind of, there's a balancing that takes place. There are disappointments of epic proportions if you are a James Robinson fantasy manager, like someone in this room at this side of the table.
Well, now, in fairness, all three of it, in the other Dynasty League, our co-owned team, we have James Robinson.
So a lot to go over. We'll be taking questions, breaking down these players, these picks. This is Ultimate Draft Week, which means that we have, if you just joined us, there was a graphic up earlier.
You missed it. Whoa. Oh, there. Look at that graphic.
There it is.
Man.
Listener League entry, we're giving one away. This is the Fantasy Footballers Listener League. There's only,
one. There's only one of them.
Well,
That's
one
right.
league,
That's
but
right, Mike.
how many spots have we given away so far?
This Megla Bowl winner
Right.
gets in.
It's 14 teams, so there's the three of
Yes.
us. We got the Megla Bowl winner in. We have a Listener League winner earlier that is in.
Yeah, the person, I can't recall their name, but they won the Listener League last year. They will be back because of Mr. Disgruntled over there. Him and Davante Adams really let me down in the semis.
So it's just a reminder, go to ultimatedraftkit.com before May 2nd, and you'll be entered to win that, a video draft review, a couple of signed jerseys, Davante Adams, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Again, ultimatedraftkit.com, the UDK or the UDK Plus. If you've already bought it, you're entered to win, so don't freak out about that.
Right.
Yeah, just enjoy the stream.
And I believe this is the last Listener League that we're giving away, right?
Yes.
From here on out, I believe you've got to submit something magical. Just blow us away with your submission. And but you got a chance right now, so it's certainly worth it.
And then an update on the Glamour Shot bet. On the show on Thursday, we made all of our predictions. And I'll have to say, I feel like this year has gone better than any year in the past. Right now, Jason's in the lead. He has 7 correct picks.
Started 7 for 7.
Yeah, your start was unbelievable.
And then the Chicago Bears traded up, which I had predicted them to trade up to get Mac Jones. I had to leave early. So like everything's coming up magical. I see the Chicago trade up. I'm like, oh man, but I had to run. My children had a performance. I had to go see that. And so I leave before finding out who that was. And then
your magic left.
My magic was gone.
So right now, Jason has 7 correct. I have 6. Mike has 5. But we have a second and third round.
5.2. I'm giving myself 0.2.
Oh.
Are you trying to take Rashad Bateman just throwing it out there?
Yeah.
We didn't get to predict that one.
But I did call that one.
Ravens.
I did on the show.
I always thought Ravens for
Right.
Bateman.
Actually, we both thought Terrace Marshall.
Yeah.
No, both. I thought both.
I thought both.
Yeah.
But
I just want 0.2, man.
no, I mean you get like DAP from us. You
All
get
right.
credit for that prediction.
Street cred.
So
Valuable.
Street cred. That's
the-
right. No glamour shot.
I can't wait to
credit.
go to the street cred store and trade that in.
Yeah. It's like the Peter Piper Pizza Shop.
Yeah.
You need a lot of tickets at Street Cred
I'm
store.
gonna get some sweet tarts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some
One of
Arby's,
those little frogs that you push down that jumps.
a slinky, some parachute men.
Oh, both. You're getting the pink and the blue
Oh, yeah.
versions of the Tootsie Rolls.
That's right.
They're going to be great.
So that's where it stands right now. I believe there are 3 players left, Brooksy, that we are kind of waiting on, right? Javonte Williams,
Terrace
Elijah
Marshall.
Moore, and Terrace Marshall Jr. And how those play out, assuming any of us get any of them right, will determine whose glamour shot will be on the back wall for a week.
Beautiful.
So that'll be fun. But last night's draft came, the first 2 picks,
As expected.
what we expected.
Yep.
Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. And at number 3, it was Trey Lance. It ended up, after all the suspense, all the drama, all the Mac Jones talk, Justin Fields' hopes, Trey Lance is the pick. And Kyle Shanahan came out. He said it was Lance all along.
Yes.
Because that's what you better say.
Well, because it's 100% true. You don't make that trade to go up and go, well, I'm going to take a look at a couple guys. No, you know exactly who you're going to draft. And Trey Lance, I mean, he is a raw prospect, really only 1 year of college at a low competition. He dominated, so he did what he had to do in that position. He absolutely dominated. Cannon arm. I think he had like 1,100 rushing yards.
Yeah.
I mean, he is an absolute savage out there on the field. And landing with the 49ers, man. Jason, are you going to – we haven't put our rookie rankings update yet. If you have the Dynasty Pass from the UDK Plus, those will be going live Monday because, look, there's a little bit left in the draft. We got to see where people go. But do you feel right now with the quarterbacks having basically settled, is Trey Lance going to be your number 1?
Yeah, so I've been going back and forth on this.
Because that's hot. That's spicy.
It could very, very well change after. So what's going to happen? We're going to put up our Dynasty rankings and our rookie rankings. I mean, they're already up if you've got the UDK Plus. We'll put them up.
And the regular UDK will be getting the Dynasty rankings
The regular
as well.
UDK will be getting those really soon, early this next week. And then we are spending the next several weeks just statting out every single player, every single position. And I might tweak that, but as of right now, I think Trey Lance is the number 1 quarterback for fantasy. When you go to Kyle Shanahan, who can manufacture yards with Ayuk and Debo from the line of scrimmage. You don't even have to throw the ball downfield, but he's got a rocket, and he's got a rushing baseline where I would expect 650 rushing yards next year. If you've got a 650-yard rushing baseline in fantasy football, it's going to be really hard for me to think that Trevor Lawrence right now is going to be better. Now, he is the safer long-term prospect. And so for Dynasty, you've got to have that reality that if they both have a couple of really bad years, right, the next 2-3 years go poorly, Trey Lance is in trouble, whereas Justin Lawrence is not.
Justin Lawrence.
Yes, that's right. He's not in trouble because he's not a person.
I think that it's hard to argue that it's not the best scenario quarterbacks walked into in quite some time. Great play caller, established team with a good defense. It's coming, injuries hurt them last year, but they were a Super Bowl team. Coach goes out and gets you, believes he can build an offense around you. Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, a good running game. Everything is there for Trey Lance. The only thing that there could be some growing pain, some big moment stuff, where you're in a clutch game. This is NFL side of things. We have some questions. Are you happy that the Cardinals now have to face Trey Lance twice a year? No, I'm not happy. Any quarterback that can run the football is really annoying to watch face your team. I mean, that's the truth. It's just 3rd and longs that turn into first downs, and that's going to be annoying. I don't know if Trey Lance will be able to make the leap, but I'll say this. If he's the starter from day 1, I like him more than Jalen Hurts. If he's the starter from the first day of the year, I have more confidence in the play calling, the weapons, everything that Kyle Shanahan brings to the table. So If we know Trey Lance is the day one starter, Jimmy Garoppolo is, on the
gone.
bench or he's gone, then I like Trey Lance more in fantasy than I do Jalen Hurts.
I will just be so shocked if Garoppolo's on this roster. I mean, like, I'll be a little surprised if Garoppolo is on the roster come Monday, but if come training camp he's on the roster, I'll be shocked.
I still think there's a decent chance. I'm like 50-50 on whether Garoppolo's still there.
I mean, they did say in the beginning that they went to the owner, got permission to pay for Garoppolo and draft a rookie quarterback. This is the rookie quarterback that would make sense to hold on to Garoppolo, let him start. You've been to a Super Bowl with Garoppolo, and let Lance develop his craft. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I think Mac Jones and Justin Fields were safer as a pick than Trey Lance would have been. I think Trey Lance's ceiling is tremendous. Max wrote a question to us on the live stream. Tell us why Trey Lance is great. It's the same reasons that Josh Allen was considered great.
Yes.
Formidable runner, cannon of an arm. He's a developmental prospect. He's somebody that you have to say, you can't hold it against him that he only dominated for 1 year, but you also can't give him credit for years that haven't happened yet. You have to let that player come out and show you what he has. Does he go the Josh Allen route? I don't know. I don't think I saw that on film yet, but the potential is so – I mean, we had this – I brought this up in the studio yesterday. What happens if Mitch Trubisky was drafted by Andy Reid? And you look at the first-round quarterbacks that have gone over the last handful of years, and Patrick Mahomes had the most amount of games where he did not start. Like, he had 17 games before he got considerable playing time. It's not to say Mitch Trubisky is a world beater, but he's way better than he was. If he spends that time with Andy Reid in that system after 17 weeks of learning from Alex Smith, like – all of those things factor in, and so San Francisco gives Trey Lance a lot of, I think, potential.
Yeah, but I will say this, as Cardinal fans, since that's where the question originated, I would say I would be much more upset if they had drafted Justin Fields. I didn't want to face him because I think he's more ready. And congratulations to the Bears fans out there because you thought you were playing with Dalton. and I'm sure you will start with Dalton. Maybe. For a couple hours.
I will say that Matt Nagy, he's shown a willingness to make a quick switch if he needs to. So could be a game. Who knows? Kyle Pitts went 4th to Atlanta. Jason and I had Trey Lance right. Mike and Jason had Kyle Pitts right. I had thought that maybe the Falcons would take the chance on Justin Fields here. I thought that putting him on that roster, guaranteeing yourself a future at quarterback, they obviously are committed to Matt Ryan. You guys brought that up on the show. So Kyle Pitts.
Incredible landing spot.
JP wants to know, what round are you drafting Kyle Pitts in redraft?
It's, still the same. We had kind of talked. Wait, was that the Footcast?
I don't think we talked about that on the main show yet. So
okay, so that was on the Footcast, but
pretty excited personally.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to gauge Kyle Pitts because you have a vast amount of history of rookie tight ends not really doing anything, and we're talking Hall of Fame level tight ends start off slow. Tony Gonzalez had 2 seasons before he turned into Tony Gonzalez. Now, and we haven't seen a tight end drafted this high. The landing spot with Arthur. Arthur's going to have a plan with Kyle Pitts. Go back and look at what the plan was when Arthur Smith was the tight end coach. Well, but he was the tight end coach with Delaney Walker in Houston when that dude was getting just boatloads of targets and really being a factor in the receiving game. He's the 4th overall pick.
Yeah, you have to use it.
So where I'm going to draft him in redraft, once you get past Mark Andrews, it's a crapshoot. It is a complete crapshoot at the tight end position.
Let me ask a question before you weigh in, because I think it might be informative. What if they drafted Jamar Chase? Okay? So I know that sounds like you look at Kyle Pitts, you look at what he does on the field. He's a pass-catching weapon for Matt Ryan. Is there something to be said about evaluating this pick in the context of the fact that they do have Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones and how that factors into the offense? If you had drafted Jamar Chase, you would know the potential of Jamar Chase, but you would also know the limitations on the target and market share.
Right, and you have to – I get it. I get how talented he is, and I sound like a Kyle Pitts hater when I bring up any kind of what I think is just
And when you print those T-shirts you made.
what I hate Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. No, I mean, he's the best pass-catching tight end I've ever seen as a prospect. I love him, but I do think you have to be realistic. He's a rookie tight end. Hayden Hurst is still on the team. I'm not saying like, oh, Hayden Hurst is something special, but he's not walking into a role where he's going to be this. There's just so many targets that are needed to go somewhere on this roster. Now, it changes if Julio's traded. If Julio is gone, now there's so many targets that are out there available. But as a rookie coming in, like, for instance, I would never draft Kyle Pitts in a redraft ahead of T.J. Hawkinson this year. T.J. Hawkinson has a ton of extra targets coming his way. You've got T.J. Hawkinson and 2 loser wide receivers now there to – Sorry, not sorry, Brashad Perriman. My point is, he's coming into, that age of tight end where you're several years in and the system.
Kyle Pitts or T.J. Hawkinson in a redraft, Mike?
I'm with Jason. I would go with Hawkinson there.
Okay.
I'll bet against the rookie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Evan Ingram having success. Obviously, Kyle Pitts set the record, highest draft pick of a tight end ever.
But even success for Evan Ingram, what did he end up as, like the tight end 8 or something like that?
Even Vernon Davis, who's one of the highest ever, very pedestrian rookie year. That being said, today's NFL is not you can't apples to apples everything that's ever happened at the tight end position either because they were drafted. I mean, the highest draft pick of all time was somewhere in the 70s. The tight end position is completely different at that point in time. I'm very optimistic for Kyle Pitts to have a big role in the offense, but I understand the Hawkinson.
Phrase it this way. Kyle Pitts was the first pass catcher drafted in 2021.
Yes, that is true.
So, like, it wasn't just 3 wide receivers went off and then Kyle Pitts. He was drafted as the best pass catcher in the draft.
After those 5 tight ends, including Hawkinson, to me, that's where if you want to call your shot, then I'm fine with you doing that. He won't be number 6 in my rankings, obviously not with Noah Fant having Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball.
Oh man!
But sorry, Jeremy. Yeah, but that's where I think you can start to make your case and call your shot on Pitts.
Fred says Pitts is the next Jimmy Grandpa.
I could see that. I mean, Jimmy Grandpa was
– he was awesome.
He was Jimmy Graham once upon a time.
Yes.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham was unbelievable for fantasy.
Yes.
And it was because he was not a really great blocker, but he was
I would take Kyle.
Graham.
I think I would take Pitts over Hawkinson.
Really?
Yeah, I do. And part of that is red zone. I think he's going to be a tremendous weapon for a Matt Ryan that doesn't throw the ball to Julio Jones.
Julio's not catching the touchdown.
It's true.
And we brought it up on the Footcast, but the precedent with Tony Gonzalez, with Austin Hooper, I think Kyle Pitts from day one is going to be that Matt Ryan, regardless of Kyle Pitts, was throwing for – he's going to go for 5,000. He always goes for 5,000. That at least is interesting to me.
Does he go for 5,000 in the first year of a new coordinator?
Probably.
Not usually.
It's just usually the touchdowns.
We shouldn't have that much history of that stat.
I know,
but
it's
we
sad.
do. All right, Jamar Chase went 5 to the Bengals. We all had Jamar to the Bengals. I was disappointed that you both went that way. I thought one of you would give them enough credit to draft an O-lineman.
I saw a Bengals fan who was like, "No, you're wrong. They're going to make a smart decision." And I was like, "No, don't. I would draft Sewell, but I don't think they will."
I've really, ever since the pick, I've gone over in my mind, like, if I'm a Bengals fan, I'm happy they drafted Jamar Chase. That's the plain and simple truth, because I could put myself in that boat. If last year the Cardinals could have drafted CeeDee Lamb to go with Kyler from their history together, and instead we took an offensive lineman of whom probably most of the fans don't know.
Yeah, boring.
It would have been boring, even if it's the right pick. Jamar Chase to the Bengals. Dennis asked the question, how do you value T. Higgins now? Much lower, slightly lower, the same? Not the same.
Yeah, I would say slightly lower, not much lower, because I think T. Higgins is a great player. He was drafted to be a 1 when he was drafted.
He was drafted to
be great. And he was really, really good. He's also got a year head start in the system and all of that. So, but you're right, Andy. It can't be the same. I mean, if you didn't draft, use your number 5 pick
yeah,
on Jamar Chase, and those 104 targets from A.J. Green are floating out there to go somewhere. Now it's like, oh, you expect those targets to mostly go to Chase.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, man. Joe Burrow has Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. Rookie wide receivers can make a tremendous impact in year one. We've seen it before, especially ones with great athleticism that can make big plays. Jamar Chase, first wide receiver off the board in this draft, ahead of the Heisman Trophy winner, ahead of Jaylen Waddle. So
Jamar Chase checks every single box that you can think of analytically. Like, his athletic testing is absolutely off the chart. Now, I know it's pro day, but the pro day clocked in at 4.34. Like, he is athletically, he's off the charts. His production profile smashes every market share that you want of receptions, yards, touchdowns, and his dominator rating. He outproduced Justin Jefferson, and when he was younger than Justin Jefferson, his breakout age is great. His draft capital is the 5th overall pick. Jamar Chase is going in there to take over.
Yeah, and Cincinnati fans, I'm going to give you the pathway to joy here. I mean, if you're not already just happy with Chase,
yes,
if
be
you're
excited.
sad about the offensive line, here's what I'll say. You're getting an offensive lineman back, a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
You're getting him back this year. You didn't have him last year. It's like you drafted one. You need more than one, but I think that this could work out. There's a rapport between Burrow and Jamar Chase, so from a fantasy perspective, it's interesting. And like you said, T. Higgins, your dynasty long-term value on T. Higgins was different 2 days ago than it was today. So before we get to number 6 here, which Jason nailed, part of his 7-for-7 start in the predictions, I do want to remind anybody that's just joining us, go to ultimatedraftkit.com. We have an exclusive giveaway through Sunday. If you pre-order the UDK,
Sunday.
you can see it right there. We're giving away a Clyde Edwards-Helaire jersey, a Davante Adams jersey, a video draft review with us, and the big one, the Listener League spot. We're giving away a Listener League spot to somebody who pre-orders the UDK before Sunday. Jason's birthday is Sunday.
Ooh.
And so he can be the one that picks out the random winner.
No, technically
He'll probably give it to himself.
It's through Sunday, right? Isn't it
your
through
birthday?
the weekend?
The giveaway.
If I say until Sunday, does that not mean through Sunday?
I feel like until Sunday has a little ambiguity in there where you're like, wait. Until Sunday means
Maybe we should leave the ambiguity so that the imminence.
Oh yeah.
UltimateDraftKit.com.
Also, I highly recommend the UDK Plus that comes with the Dynasty Pass, and if you play DFS,
Throw me that jersey, Al.
if you play DFS, you will not be upset when you are smashing with Kyle Bergogan, and he's just now Kyle Bergogan, Kyle Borgognoni, and Matthew Betts. They absolutely smash it week in and week out. Look at those jerseys.
Ooh,
Yeah,
they're hot.
these came from Pristine Auction. They are authenticated. Davante Adams. We went through a ride with Aaron Rodgers
my
thinking
gosh.
about Davante Adams
Yes.
in the future here. I'm going to put that up right there.
All right.
How far would Davante Adams fall if Aaron Rodgers does not come back? If he holds out, not that he gets traded, but he just says,
He would fall to 2.
I'm playing Jeopardy.
He would fall to 2.
2? That's
Correct.
it? Oh, you're insane.
No.
He's probably still in the top 5.
Well, let me ask you this. Maybe I'm wrong. Tyreek passes him instantaneously. Yeah,
Yes.
Mike, you can fix the jersey. You can do some work around here every once in a while.
Fine.
Plus, that's your dude.
Oh, yeah, it is my
The
dude.
jersey looking like his rookie season.
I would take Diggs. I would take
Look
Hopkins.
Was like pretty good, but not great.
Correct. Yeah, illegible. I was going to say Hopkins was going to be the question.
Yeah, I would
And
take
Diggs.
Hopkins.
Okay.
I would take Diggs.
4
I
or
would take
5. You're right.
A.J. Brown.
I would not take A.J. Brown over him.
There's a handful of players. I think he'd probably fall to 8 or 9 for me.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I'd probably
No
take Michael
chance.
Thomas.
Okay.
I don't trust Jordan Love.
This plastic's so slippery.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about this. Terrible idea, Al. This was 100% Al's idea. It certainly wasn't mine. All right, let's talk about Jaylen Waddle.
Waddle.
Went ahead of Devonta Smith here. Smith I had going at 6 instead of Mr. Waddle.
And allegedly, Waddle was their pick all along. And like if Jamar Chase were there, they would have drafted Waddle over him.
Brett Westerfield said, Jason, give a shout-out to the Hefty boys in the chat.
Oh, yeah. Where's my Hefties at? Where's my Hefty boys at?
That's what they wanted.
The Hefty Boys.
Hey, I'm just a man of the people here.
All right.
Is that I just want to know, is that how the Hefties talk? I mean, is that
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's me,
Hefty.
Dave Gettleman.
Oh, is Dave Gettleman in Hefty Boys?
Oh, Dave's a hefty boy.
we better get off of this. Yeah, so Waddle, you nailed it, Jason. You mentioned the fact that you didn't believe that NFL teams saw Devonta Smith the way you did, which was that they valued the speed of Jaylen Waddle more. Hit the nail on the head here. He goes 6. And I think people are kind of scratching their head. They're saying they know the ability, the talent. I feel like Tua's getting practically the Jordan Love treatment, where they feel like they've seen enough to know that this player, this Heisman winner, this once-upon-a-time tank for Tua superstar, the ship has sailed on his ceiling. And so where are you with Waddle's upside and potential?
Waddle's very interesting because when I watched his tape, he didn't look like just a Henry Ruggs to me or a Ted Ginn Jr., the type that's like super fast but just going to be used sparingly. He looked like a player who could develop into a true gamer. Now, the issue of the landing spot here, even though he gets the rapport with Tua, he's played with Tua, that part's great. But you have Devontae Parker there, and more importantly, they just signed Will Fuller, who is an experienced burner. And I don't think Tua is one of those, 4,700, 4,800-plus yard passers. Like, you're not going to have that. And they've got a great defense.
Mike Gesicki still there?
Yeah, I think this is going to be we talk a lot about the size of the pie.
Is this the Jalen Ruggs? Or, I'm sorry, is this the Ruggs pick?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it is.
Yeah,
Production-wise?
I don't think it is either. I think he'll produce more than Ruggs, but he's got to split the targets a lot of different directions, and I do think rookie year is going to be a little bit disappointing. In a redraft, he'll probably be off my board.
Man, it's just hitting me now, the draft capital. So Tua is the quarterback, right?
Yes.
Wide receivers, first-round pick, Jaylen Waddle. First-round pick, Devontae Parker. Second-round pick, Mike Gesicki. First-round pick, Will Fuller.
Yeah.
Tua, you better be freaking awesome. Or it's you. It is your fault and no one else's.
They're going to be a pretty good team.
Yes.
And so,
but now just imagine if they had Fitzpatrick, how good they'd be.
Don't do that to us.
You know they wouldn't make the playoffs.
Well, right, but they'd be great.
For fantasy. The Lions went with Sewell. The Panthers and Broncos went cornerback instead.
Which was shocking.
Instead of Justin Fields. I know Broncos fans out there are tremendously upset. They went from rumors of Aaron Rodgers' arrival to
a consolation prize
to Justin Fields. Oh my goodness, here he is. To Teddy Bridgewater and Drew Lock battling it out. And
I'm sorry.
Man, that tastes bad.
I'm sorry, Denver fans.
That just yuck.
Yeah.
No, it's not great. And I have a Denver friend that went from the highest of highs in all capitals to the lowest of lows in all capitals, wanting to just sell out. Like, can I move on to a different team?
Yes, Cardinals fans, we welcome you.
Always welcome.
What's crazy is Denver came out and supposedly, allegedly, really, really liked Fields. They just liked the cornerback a little bit more.
Well, you got to get an impact player.
I mean,
it's possible that's. I mean, if it's a Jalen Ramsey or Marcus Lattimore, if that's how it pans out,
sure, that's
a pretty valuable.
That's
pick.
a huge impact, or the type of impact where when you have the ball, a player who literally touches the ball every single play. I'd go with that impact. But
look,
that's just me.
We would all go with that impact if every first-round quarterback ended up like Patrick Mahomes and not Mitch Trubisky or Blaine Gabbert or Christian Ponder or Teddy Bridgewater.
You got to take the shot, man.
Or Josh Rosen.
You got to take the shot when you've got Drew Lock.
Yes.
There you go. Devonta Smith was the next offensive player off the board. The Eagles leapfrogged here with the Giants and moved up. I'm sorry, they traded with Dallas and they leapfrogged the Giants. Is he in the running, Devonta Smith, as the number one wide receiver off of the board amongst rookies?
No.
The number one wide receiver off the board is universally Jamar Chase.
It's locked in.
This is coming from a guy who I had Devonta Smith way over Jamar Chase in my pre-draft personal rankings and talent evaluation. I prefer the player of Smith. But when you are reunited with your college quarterback on a team with so many vacated targets, with the number 5 pick on a team that you expect to actually throw the ball a lot, they don't have, some otherworldly defense, and I think Jamar Chase is coming into about as good a position as you could go into. Whereas,
I think there's a compelling argument on the other side for Devonta Smith.
It's not a bad situation because who's his competition? But it's bad in the sense that
Jalen Reagor.
Right. It's bad. Here's why I think it's bad.
You're completely out on Jalen Reagor.
I am not completely out. He'll be in my draft ranking somewhere as a hopeful, a late round guy where you can hope that there's upside.
I will
there.
rank Devonta Smith ahead of Reagor by a wide margin. He's higher draft capital, more proven, and then he's coming
by like 6 picks.
More than
Can't
that.
go with the draft capital argument
Because
you can
it's
go with
true.
the talent argument though.
They traded up for Devonta Smith.
Okay, a trade up. Okay, yes,
and
I'll
this
allow
is
that.
the most prolific collegiate wide receiver in the last 20 years. So my argument is that the Cincinnati Bengals like Tyler Boyd. He's an established volume pass catcher. T. Higgins had a spectacular rookie year. This is also a team with Joe Mixon that catches a lot of passes. This is a team with a Joe Burrow that might not be 100% on week 1. I think that there's a world where Devonta Smith is the most productive fantasy wide receiver, and this is coming from somebody who doesn't love the passing game of Jalen Hurts. I still think there's a place where Devonta Smith has, this is like I'm looking like Amari Cooper's rookie season versus, maybe I think Jamar Chase maybe catches 65 passes. Devonta Smith could catch 95 in his first season.
Yeah, no, I see everything you're saying, and it could.
You can disagree. I'm just saying that's my argument.
It could certainly turn out that way. The real issue I have is the size of the pie there. If it turns into where let's say Jalen Hurts is rushing for 800, 900 rushing yards, we see this in Baltimore where the passing pie shrinks when a quarterback runs that much because. Because
they're eating it.
Exactly.
They're gobbling it up.
They're selfish and fat, eating all my pie. But that's the issue is like if there's not enough Jalen Hurts, how many yards do you think he throws next year?
So are you just speaking specifically for this year, or like are you looking at your dynasty rookie draft?
This year. I imagine that's the question for a redraft. The question was the best rookie wide receiver for this season. That was the question that we asked.
I apologize. I misheard you. So then yes, then you possible. It's definitely possible. But I'm right. Sorry, right now I'm in dynasty mode because the rookie drafts are happening, and it's Jamar Chase is locked in. Look at the long term plan for Joe Burrow.
Oh, I'd rather have Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Yeah, he's higher passing volume offense, established.
That was the only reason where I'm like, what are you?
Not at all.
How are we arguing this?
No, he says is Smith in the running to finish as the top rookie wide receiver this year.
Okay.
To me, he is in that running.
Possible.
And yeah, Jalen Hurts. You talk about yardage for Jalen Hurts. He could push 4,000 yards.
Yeah, he certainly is in the running. I said no, thinking that that the question was is he in the running to be drafted first. I probably wouldn't, but I think you are swaying me here with the arguments of you can have a small pie if you get all of it. You know what I mean? Like Mark Andrews.
Travis Fulgham had relevance last year as
those 3 games were sweet.
I mean, it's true though, right? Like he demanded the ball during these 3 games in Philadelphia when you're like, ew, passing offense.
Dallas Goedert will still demand targets. He was hurt.
Yeah, there's just we expect
Zach Ertz is still on that team.
He is still on the team, but we expect that he'll be
look.
cut after
Every
June
team
1st.
every team needs a water boy.
At this point, do you want him in Arizona?
Zach Ertz?
Yeah,
I know his answer.
I'd rather gouge myself in the face with a pencil.
I think that's a no.
That's throwing money and that's playing with 10 players.
Well, they do presently have no tight ends really.
I'd rather play with 10 guys on the field than Zach Ertz out there doing nothing.
All right, send in your questions. Thank you for joining us. UltimateDraftKit.com if you want to get in on our big giveaway. You can check that out. We're giving away some jerseys, a listener league spot, as long as you get the UDK before the end of Sunday. Devonta Smith, we just talked about it. Justin Fields went to the Bears. They traded up.
Oh, man.
This was what they had to do. This transforms – if you want to talk about Mike's point about Denver or you guys talking about Drew Lock, think about what a quarterback does to frame the view of a franchise and the fandom. Justin Fields may not pan out.
Sure.
But the fans of the Chicago Bears – I'm getting texts.
Mm-hmm.
I've got people crying. I have people running through their homes with no regard for anything.
Yep.
The joy and excitement.
Stubbing toes.
Look, we had it with Josh Rosen for the until they play, they might be the best.
That's true.
And Justin Fields just gives so much hope and optimism to that team. I was so happy they went Fields over Mac Jones because I think Fields is just a much better quarterback and brings something different to the table than what Chicago's been muddling through at the position. So they gave up a lot, but they gave up a fair amount, in my opinion, for moving to 11 to grab Justin Fields and give themselves a shot at a franchise player.
They had to give up a 1, right?
Yeah, they gave up the Giants traded pick 11 to the Bears for 20, 164, and then the first next year.
A first and
a fourth next year. Yeah.
Sometimes that's what you have to do to go get a franchise.
Well, and you'd have to give up more if you wanted to go get Fields at 3.
Yeah, look at San Francisco, what they had to give up to get up there. Justin Fields just fell not into their lap, but fell close enough that they went and they snatched him up. And now, I mean, let's see what else they do in this draft. I'm seeing them being mocked with like someone like Elijah Moore or St. Brown. I mean, like giving another weapon, just really, really transforming what the Chicago
is a huge fan
Chicago
of this
Bears
move.
can be.
Yeah.
He should be.
My biggest fear when I was projecting the Bears to trade up was, will they allow Ryan Pace to do that after trading up for Trubisky and
Yeah,
whiffing?
you brought that up, and I agreed with that point.
I am so impressed by them to do it again. Like it's hard, even when when you yourself do something and you fail at it. It's hard to say, oh, I don't want to make the same mistake twice, but you could make a mistake by not trying.
Arizona
again.
had to do it. They had to make the choice of Kyler over Joey Bosa after the year that the same management chose Josh Rosen, and you don't make a bad decision better by making a second one. And
right.
So they got to go in and try to fix it. Jay Grizz very happy with the pick.
I mean, Allen Robinson, like finally, this is.
Yeah, I will say that long term, yes. But I am curious about the rookie season because the rookie season you just generally don't see the free. Nick Foles is going to have more freedom to throw the football than Justin Fields has as a rookie. And so the volume that has supplied Allen Robinson, I mean, I see Jason agreeing.
You are 100%
It's really
right.
true.
It's not great for Allen Robinson rookie year. And then here's what I know. Allen Robinson is on a franchise tag and will not be back with the Bears next year because Allen Robinson is not allowed to have a good quarterback. That's been proven in the universe. And now that they've drafted a good quarterback, in my opinion, he will not be back on this team. He has some universal rule where it's like, I can be great with a bad quarterback.
Herbert is the hope. If you could get somebody to come in and throw the ball as much as Herbert did, then Keenan Allen was fine, right? Keenan Allen was better.
And you may have just secured Allen Robinson long term for
true.
your team. I mean, if you're making Allen
Which
Robinson,
then condemns Justin Fields to be horrible.
yeah, that part is true. But if
Based
you're
on
running,
your
you're
universal
running
rule.
Robinson out there with Andy Dalton on a franchise tag, he's not coming back to your team unless you could double franchise him and pay him that huge amount of money. But now you might actually be able to get him with a long-term deal.
And I think this is also good rookie year, Justin Fields, for David Montgomery. You know, as a defense, being able to let's really focus on the run here. It's gonna be hard. You might have to shadow the quarterback. You might have to worry about more RPOs and
watch out for Cole Kmet
and completions.
Sure,
Watch out for Cole Kmet this year.
Yeah,
I think
I don't mind that.
A little bit sneaky. The next offensive player, Mac Jones. Mac Jones just drops right into the Patriots' lap at 15. It is my opinion that Mac Jones will start early for this team. The Patriots had to make the move. I laugh at everybody that wanted to point out that Belichick's never taken a quarterback early or something. I was like, do you live in the world?
The dumbest stat. Good. Bill Belichick hasn't taken a first-round quarterback in 20 years. Yeah, he had Tom Brady for 20 years. Why would he?
It's ridiculous.
So dumb.
Mac Jones, do you upgrade, initial impressions, do you upgrade these receiving options because of the addition?
Which ones?
Nelson Aguilar.
Which one?
Yeah, I forgot he's there.
Well, and Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. I don't upgrade them. I do not think Mac Jones sees the field the first half of the season.
I think it's a huge upgrade for those players.
Compared to Cam,
long
yeah.
term,
Compared to Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah, even short term, if Mac is on the field,
correct.
Huge upgrade to the passing game, the receiving options. Because you look at how many games Cam last year threw for 150, just threw for nothing.
I'll be very curious what this training camp looks like because I can't make a judgment call now on whether or not Mac Jones goes out and balls out. I do know that New England has a couple of qualities that make me think Mac Jones will be on the field. They didn't like last year, and they're very impatient about turning the team around. So if Cam doesn't look like he's making an improvement, I don't think it'll be long.
Last year, just a reminder here for people. Cam Newton had 8 passing touchdowns.
Yes.
The team as a whole had 12 passing touchdowns.
Yeah. That's
12 passing touchdowns.
And Cam's, I think we all know, Cam's not trending the right direction.
Correct.
Well, I think that's a little bit unfair. He had 8 passing touchdowns, but he missed a week in week 4.
Oh, yeah.
So
you
gotta factor
that's
that in.
16 game
He
pace.
might have thrown 2 and been in double digits.
All right, Kadarius Toney to the Giants at 20.
Hey,
it's
me.
It's kind of
Dave.
When you look at that move, from what I understand, he was pining for Devonta Smith.
Yeah, and in classic Dave Gettleman form, he just sat there. He sat there and did nothing. And the Eagles the Giants.
I think they want.
Should we go get our guy?
Yeah,
let's go get our guy.
But if
it
you
only
don't
costs
get,
a third.
If you don't get Devonta Smith, it is much better to have acquired a first-round draft pick, a fourth-round draft pick, and still taken. There's not another wide receiver off the board. So if you needed a wide receiver and you wanted one, if Toney was the next guy on your list, he's there at 12. He's there at 20.
It's a great move what they did to trade back. I think that they got a good payment for their pick. They obviously got the next wide receiver on their board already. Home run across the board. I personally do not like Kadarius Toney. I did not see something that I loved, and he's going to a team now that is honestly it's loaded with Galladay and the speed of Toney and or Ross, and you've got Sterling Shepard and Evan Ingram and Saquon Barkley. This offense, this is another, you're talking about Tua. It's on you if you can't get it done with those weapons. Well, Daniel Jones, you're either great this year or you suck.
Yeah. By the way, if you have questions for us, we'll be on for another 15 minutes or so at least. And if you have questions fantasy-wise, team-wise, draft-wise, things you're looking forward to tonight, make sure you send them in. I think Toney's a great addition to the team and not ever going to be relevant for fantasy.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think he is a perfect complement for what they have there with established, down the field pass catchers, Shepard, Galladay. Give them another player to run gadgets, end rounds, widen the field, do some of those things. Make life easier on Daniel Jones. Look, if Daniel Jones can throw a 4-yard pass to Kadarius Toney in the slot and he can run it down the field, it all looks good on the stat sheet. But I do think it's a different type of player by a long stretch from Devonta Smith. The Steelers, Najee Harris. Najee Harris to Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
We talked in the office earlier today about where running backs could have landed. Here's what I know about Pittsburgh, and then I'll hand it off.
Oh, yeah.
I know that Najee Harris will be the starter day one, and he'll get the majority of the work in the running game and the passing game. So, comes down to what do you believe about the Pittsburgh Steelers, the football team, and their potential offensive system? Last year, they became a short passing game system. They ran through the air because they had no running game. They have lost 3 offensive linemen on a roster that was the 31st ranked run blocking line last year. They have gotten worse in blocking for the run for 5 consecutive seasons. And, yes, James Conner is not good. But it is peculiar to me that you spend a first-round pick on maybe what's not the problem in the running game. They have to fix their offensive line in the second and third round tonight. That will give me a lot more confidence on Najee Harris not having an inefficient rookie year. That's my take.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, you make the point they were last in their run blocking, and then they lose a bunch of offensive linemen. But
Pouncey's gone.
Outside of that, I mean, you could be addition by subtraction here. I mean, if you're the worst, those guys, you don't want them back, right? I mean,
well, you want Pouncey back.
Well,
yeah,
certainly
and
Pouncey.
you want continuity. I mean, that means a lot to an offensive line.
But I do think that the reason that they were willing to spend the first-round capital is because of the 3-down skill set, which is so valuable for fantasy.
Yep.
If he is inefficient behind this offensive line, he will still be very good for fantasy, because if you touch the ball near 300 times.
What is king? Or what is the phrase? Blank is king in fantasy football.
Opportunity
Or volume. And he's going to see he's going to see more than of the vast majority of running backs in the NFL.
Is he a top 15 running back in
Yes.
redraft for both of you?
Yes.
Is he so I can think of all the names in that list. Are you taking rookie Najee Harris over Joe Mixon?
That's the name that I knew you were going to bring up. I have been rising on Joe Mixon tremendously. I think he's probably ahead of Najee.
Cam Akers.
I would take Cam Akers ahead.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I would take Najee there.
Mike?
I think I'd go Clyde, but just as a reminder for people, 105, 94, 106, those are targets that Le'Veon Bell saw as the primary running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I agree with you, Andy. Like, in real-life football, they have a big offensive line problem. Getting a superstar running back doesn't fix all of that. It can help, because there's some difference-making running backs that actually can change things, and I think that Najee can be one of those guys. But they can fix the offensive line. You hit on a draft pick or two, the rest of the way, you can really change things up. The landing spot is just so great because we've seen Mike Tomlin in the NFL for a very, very long time, and we have seen Mike Tomlin over and over and over want one player out on the field. The amount of who are the actual 3-down running backs in the NFL? It's, 4, 5 of them?
Not many.
So,
Saquon, CMC, Dalvin Cook.
Alvin Kamara.
If you can, and Alvin Kamara is not even a 3-down back. He's just on a great offense and efficient. But if they can figure some things out, Najee Harris is going to be elite.
I just think he needs to be appropriately valued, not with 5 year ago Pittsburgh value, because this team is not going to have Big Ben beyond this year. This is his final year.
Yeah,
he's not going to be
that's
back.
Fair.
And he wasn't good towards the end of last year. So
he was bad, though.
He was bad.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying we sat here and we talked about how ugly it was when he was gone and what had happened to Antonio Brown, Juju
Yes.
Smith-Schuster. It got ugly quick.
Yes.
And so it's not anything against Najee. I think he's a great player, and you're 100% right. Volume opportunity, it's going to be there. But I brought up the names that I think will be in that category: the Cam Akers, the Joe Mixons, the Clyde Edwards-Helaire's. So it is exciting from the prospect of, look, Miami, Pittsburgh, those were places that you thought he would get a 3-down workload from day one. You really you can't look out there and see any other teams that are in that category.
And so
the Jets were the other one. The Jets, he would have had a 3-down situation.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Who is your 101 right now in rookie drafts?
Well, let's just throw in that Travis Etienne went next to Jacksonville. My number one in rookie drafts is
he did.
It's between Jamar Chase and Najee Harris.
Yeah, okay.
So it's I don't know yet. One of the reasons we didn't do like our full like live during the draft,
Yeah.
a couple reasons, is that one, it takes freaking forever for these picks to happen.
Yeah, it
Two,
does.
it takes more than 2 seconds of thought to break it down for fantasy purposes, and there's a million live streams going on at once. And we're sitting here thinking through it. So right now I'm sitting here going, is it Chase or is it Najee?
But that was my point. Is he's the first running back on your rankings right now, and Javonte Williams could go to.
He could go to Atlanta.
He could go to Atlanta or Miami, but
or New York.
But
the
I don't.
Jets.
Would that leap or could that? I'll just say,
is there a landing
spot
that would put him firmly above Najee?
No, I don't think so. I think if Javonte went to the Jets, he's competing for 2-3.
Okay.
But I'm not. I think that the Jets are going to improve under Saleh, and I think that having a new quarterback, new wide receivers, I don't want all of this history to, it's like what we did with Tennessee. With A.J. Brown, there is a lot of turnover that happens in the NFL. So I'm just trying to stay objective.
The offensive line could fix.
It could. It could.
Come on.
I think the crazy thing is the trend. It's 5 years of getting worse at running the football because every one of those years it was 100% true that Mike Tomlin wanted to run the ball better. So if Mike Tomlin wanted it for 5 years, it's not bona fide proof it gets better.
Yeah, nice thing is, I guarantee they don't get worse this year. I will pay money that they do not get worse for a 6th year in a row. It's impossible.
Because they were already last.
If they're 32nd.
No, they're 31st.
Oh, no.
They're 31st.
Oh, no. What have I done?
Your house is gone.
The pain begins. Travis Etienne.
Yeah, you take that.
To Jacksonville.
Thanks for your work last year, James. We no longer need your services.
I mean, it's objectively stupid. It's
factually, yes.
For a lot of reasons. Like it's stupid because running backs, like investing high draft capital on running backs is not always the best decision. Rashad Penny, Sony Michel. It is stupid because you have a Pro Bowler. It is stupid because you have a Pro Bowler and you added Carlos Hyde, who was productive last year.
They don't have any holes elsewhere.
It is
though.
stupid because they have a tremendous amount of holes on this team.
That's right. They were the worst team in the league last year. I forgot about that.
And it's just slap in the face of James Robinson, and it means something. It means that they're going to play Travis Etienne.
If you watched Urban Meyer's press conference when he was, officially brought in, his first press conference as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, everything out of his mouth was about speed. He wants, when they talked about what are you bringing to the table, what do you see for this team? He said, I want speed, and there's a difference between 4.4 speed or speed and pads. I want to be flying all over the field.
Which is what Etienne has.
It's what Etienne has. It's exactly what James Robinson doesn't have.
Yeah. James
Robinson's a fantastic running back, but he's slow. He is not an Urban Meyer type of. He wants speed everywhere, and obviously this would not have happened if they weren't teammates. I think this is the fact that they're bringing in Trevor Lawrence, giving him an outlet in the passing game that he was used to last year. And I have no doubt that James Robinson starts the year as the starter for this team, and I have no doubt that this is Travis Etienne's job by the end of the season.
I regrettably agree completely. And I think that's something that maybe we missed on a little bit in terms of hoping for James. You brought up the unrestricted free agent part of it a lot, but the collegiate system, the speed aspect, and the fact that Urban Meyer kind of wants, people like him.
Like Herbs?
Like little Herbs. He wants a stamp on every part of the team that you're taking over and you get control of. And this is another part of it. He wants no remnants, no matter how good they are. And a lot of coaches are like that. I mean, it's not just Herbs. A lot of coaches want to say, I put it together. They want to be able to puff out their chest. And
it was stupid. I am totally with you.
It's so stupid. But legitimately, for fantasy, James Robinson managers, it's no different than, welcome Melvin Gordon to the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
I mean,
that was that was the case study we were talking about. It's like, he's a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher. Yeah, but Melvin Gordon was the first-round pick. We got to go get him.
Yeah, but nobody even drafted this guy. Yeah,
he
was great for your team.
Over under 600 rushing yards for James Robinson.
Under.
Ooh, that's a good threshold.
That is.
I believe under, though. I might take the over. I'm going to go over. But that doesn't
Thanks, Mike.
That doesn't mean he's fantasy relevant.
I know.
That just means after 17 games he might have over 600 rushing
Oh,
yards.
and what is his dynasty trade value now?
Oh.
Daisha wants to know what the dynasty trade value is.
I can tell you that Andy has shotgunned about 22 trade offers around the league. James Robinson is in every single one of those deals. He has yet to have one go through, so I would say James Robinson's dynasty value as of today is very low. Nobody wants to be holding that bag of the undrafted free agent.
Trust me, the offers that I'm sending out, I'm eating 3/4 of the bag.
Oh,
this is like me trying to trade and then pay the salary of.
Yep.
I mean, this is like he is representing to these trade offers 1/50th of what he did last week, which is it was a tough call, man.
You offered me a very, very fair trade. Can I say it?
Are you declining?
I am declining, but
good. I want to hear it.
Maybe they can convince me to take it. Maybe I'll listen to my peers here and they'll say, Jason, you're a fool. It was Will Fuller, James Robinson, and Marvin Jones Jr. for Allen Robinson.
Oh, no. I would pass. That's a lot of bag holders there.
Right? Yes. I mean, it could work out if James Robinson is more involved and if Will Fuller gets a good contract after this year and Marvin Jones plays until he's older, but it is a lot of bag holders.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
But
three players.
But imagine offering
those 3 players
at the end of last season.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it would be like,
welcome to the case study of dynasty trading.
Mm-hmm.
They were. I mean, I tried to trade for Joe Mixon with James Robinson, and Brooks turned me down out of fear of this draft because him and Big Herbs, they have Urban Meyer, they have a close relationship.
What was that trade?
Because it's because of speed. Brooks is so fast at the beach race that Urban Meyer he got on his radar.
Yeah,
and they're close. That trade, I don't remember what it was.
Good for you, Brooks. You feeling good about that?
Yes. Shut up, Brooks. I'd feel worse if I wasn't a 2-time champion and defending champ. The Ravens selected Rashad Bateman. That's the last first round. Is that for Rashad Bateman?
Yeah.
I couldn't want to stay. I mean, people want analysis. Like, help me make a decision between Hollywood Brown and Rashad Bateman. How about no?
Yeah.
How about no? How about no, I'm not going to make a decision.
Rashad Bateman.
How about neither one?
Rashad Bateman, you are an excellent football player. You were so I'm talking college.
No, I know.
You were such a good college player. You got drafted in the first round.
Yeah, brother. Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Here's the thing.
I'm so sorry you were that good.
There's going to be a lot of people out there.
He has to help Lamar, right?
Oh, yeah. No, that's what I mentioned to
It's
Jason
really good for Lamar. Are you keeping him?
If you've been following, yeah, he's in the lottery right now.
Okay.
And if I draw Lamar Jackson, I'm super excited
To have Rashad.
Yeah.
They need somebody that's not Hollywood.
He's going to be awesome.
So here's the thing.
But his pies, he still gobbles up most of that pie.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of people out there saying, I'm so happy that people are down on Bateman. I'm going to buy the dip. And they're going to buy low. And I'm going to – and you know, I would say have at it.
Yeah.
please buy low in my league.
I will take that L.
How many passing attempts is Lamar Jackson throwing on average? Is he getting to 400?
I don't know, man.
I mean, it's right around. It's
375.
And now, well, 17 games will help.
Oh yeah.
But now you've got a pretty clogged receiving core there. You've got Hollywood Brown. They signed Sammy Watkins. You've got Mark Andrews, and now rookie Rashad Bateman is taking
they
whatever.
Still have, what's his face?
I agree. Miles Boykin.
Yeah, Boykin was a second-round pick.
Yeah.
Right.
Remember how excited we were for that?
So
as excited as we are for Bateman.
when you're talking about this is like not a pie. This is a cookie. And now you're taking the cookie and you're cutting it up. You want a piece of a cookie? I don't want a piece of cookie.
This dessert is shrinking.
Yeah. So no.
Some questions before we sign out here. River Cat Martin says, "Can you draft for me?"
Well, kinda.
Yeah, the Ultimate Draft Kit at ultimatedraftkit.com. You can get the UDK Plus if you're in Dynasty Leagues, if you played DFS, if you want the latest and greatest, and then we'll basically draft for you. Look at our tiered-based rankings and all the advice, and boom, bam, you're welcome.
They're calling me Sassy Grandpa.
Oh, I like it.
Because I'm getting a little sassy about James Robinson
And Bateman.
and Bateman.
Oh, look.
How about no?
I have experienced where you were. Where you're like, they will not draft a running back. They're not gonna first round, baby.
It just needed to get through the first round. That was not mocked anywhere. I'm telling because I looked after the fact.
Right, but
I hate you.
Easily, if like let's say ETN made it through the first round and Jacksonville's on.
I agree.
That's a slam dunk.
That's why ETN needed to be drafted by Washington.
You are crapping your pants that they're going to take him, and they clearly felt that somebody else was going to draft him.
No question.
Miami,
they would have.
Miami has to be so upset because this happened to them last year. And I agree with what you were saying earlier. The way to build your team,
exactly.
Gaskin was fine, and you probably made the right decision to not take Najee at 18. I know they were considering that, but they look when I was doing our picks and I was making my mock draft. My OG mock draft had Najee to the Steelers, and or Najee to the Dolphins. And then what happened was when I realized that the Dolphins had a pick really early in the second round, I'm like, oh, they're probably going to try to get a running back there. So then I went to Najee to the Steelers, and I was like, man, but they missed out last. They're going to learn from their lessons. They're not going to repeat last year and losing out on J.K. Dobbins. They're going to take Najee in the first. And now they're not going to get the run. There's only 3 really quality running backs. They're not getting any.
2 are gone.
Yeah.
Aiden thinks you look extra handsome today, Jason.
Well, it's good to see me back in black.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You were wearing not black the other day.
I tried to wear a shirt that was not black. I did. I actually succeed and wore a shirt that was not black. It's really helpful to not
That orange
be
was a shirt?
profile. Yeah, it wasn't paint.
I thought that was your new tan from the pickleball.
Yeah, it's a bad sunburn. I wore my sleeves out, but no shirt.
Got to protect the forearms.
That's right.
All right.
From the
well,
melanoma.
we've got rounds 2 and 3 tonight. We'll have a final verdict on our Glamour Shot bet, which will be fun. I thank everyone out there for tuning in. Let's throw the graphic back up. We've got the promotion going on with the UDK. Look, so many of you get the UDK each and every year.
And we love you.
Yeah, we do. And this year it's going to be so much better. We've got an upgraded app coming out. We have a lot of improvements. We've got the UDK Plus with the draft analyzer. Very excited about it. This is our baby. This is our heart and joy. Heart and joy?
Heart and joy, as they say. It's our
pride
heart
and joy. Pride and joy.
Or heart and soul, either
heart
work.
And soul.
It's our pride and soul is what we put into this thing.
That's that Stevie Ray Vaughan song.
Definitely check it out, ultimatedraftkit.com. And we're going to get our new rookie rankings up there, our dynasty rankings up there. We'll be statting out for the next couple of weeks.
Did I just smash a Stevie Ray Vaughan reference and you guys don't know it?
That's right.
Oh, my gosh. Uncultured swine.
The listeners will approve.
Yeah.
I know because they're cultured.
You know my music references.
They're just talking about crypto out there anyway.
Oh,
They're not even listening. They're not even listening. All right, that'll do it for us at the Fantasy Footballers. Thank you for tuning in. Let's have some fun tonight. Javonte Williams to the Jets.
And
Let's
congratulations, your team is going to draft exactly who you're looking forward to them drafting.
Yes. Take care, everybody.
Goodbye.